Good morning.
Good morning, and enjoy this song that Rev G will be singing in preparation for our Sunday celebration this morning.
When I was a child, I could see the wind in the trees, and I heard a song in the breeze. It was there singing out my name. But I'm not a boy. I have known the taste of defeat, and I've finally grown to believe it will all come around again. And though I may not know the answers, I can finally say I'm free. If the questions brought me here, then I am who I was born to be. And so here am I, open arms and ready to stand. I've got the world in my hands, and it feels like my turn to fly. And though I may not know the answers, I can finally say I'm free. If the questions led me here, then I am who I was born to be. When I was a child, there were flowers that bloomed in the night, unafraid to take in the light, unashamed to have braved the dark. And though I may not know the answers, I can finally say I'm free. If the questions led me here, then I am who I was born to be. I am who I was born to be. Good morning, beloved Center for Spiritual Living Greater Boston and Facebook Live family. Welcome. Welcome to our online Sunday celebration. As we respect the health officials around the world and retreat and nurture in place. We are a welcoming community of love, peace, joy, health, abundance, and we are conscious spiritual seekers. My name is Rev G. Stewart, and I, along with Rev Ed Tansey, are the founders and spiritual leaders of this community of light. At this center, we learn, study, and practice the philosophy of the science of mind, which is the study of life and the nature of the laws of thought. And this was all synthesized by our founder, Reverend Dr. Ernest Holmes. In this community, we are radically inclusive and celebrate all paths that lead to the infinite energy or the God of one's understanding. It doesn't matter what you call this universal energy. What's important is understanding that this infinite energy exists everywhere and that we are using it all the time with our thoughts, our beliefs, and empowering it with our emotions and feelings. I welcome all of us to find out more about classes and what is going on online, and review our purpose in the world for Centers for Spiritual Living Greater Boston, and consider how you can support our purpose with your financial gift that you can make right there at cslboston.org. So please join with me in the invocation as we set the tone for our service this morning. So taking a moment to take a deep breath and to move into center. Move into that place, into that inner kingdom, into that divine presence, into that light that is at the center of all beings. Knowing that this one infinite, universal, absolute, perfect presence that I call the Mother, Father, God is awake and aware and alive in and as and through everything. It is expressing individualized in all of creation, the seen and the unseen. It is expressing as me right here and right now. And as I know that it is expressing as me, I know that it is expressing in and as and through each and every one who is joining with us live right here and right now. And those who may be sleeping in and will watch this later. I know that this is awake and aware and alive in all throughout the cosmos. There is no spot where God is not, therefore I know it is expressing right here and right now in all and as all and through all right here and right now. And it is from this understanding of this infinite one expression expressing in all of life that I call forth today's service. I know that this divine presence is expressing as me as I give the message this morning. It is expressing in Rev Ed. It is expressing in each and every one. And I know that there is a divine idea that is coming to its full fruition right here and right now, known as Center for Spiritual Living's Greater Boston, and this online service. So in gratitude for knowing that these gifts are already given right here and right now, in gratitude for knowing that it is good and very, very good, I rest and I relax in the knowing that God is fully and completely expressing right here and right now. I let it be. I know it is so. And I just let it rest in that divine mind as I say, and so it is.
And so it is. And our spiritual reading this morning comes from the Science of Mind magazine that was written for today. And its title is Wired to Help. First, it is necessary to stand on your own 2 feet. But the minute a man finds himself in that position, the next thing he should do is reach out his arms. And that was written by Kristen Hunter. And the next is written by Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind, page 557 and 558. As I love and cooperate with my fellow man, so does he love me and give his cooperation to me. Joe, a resident of Margarita, Georgia, noticed an elderly Vietnam veteran neighbor wheezing from emphysema while he was battling the overgrown weeds in his yard. Joe learned that if his neighbor didn't clean up the weeds, the county would take action against him. Joe mobilized his neighbors, who arrived with chainsaws and bush cutters, and the crew of 20 spent 3 days clearing the yard. One state over, in Birmingham, Alabama, Waffle House employee Ben unexpectedly found himself working alone on a night shift. 30 hungry people were waiting to eat. He was trying to take orders, cook, serve, clean tables, and wash dishes, all by himself. Seeing his predicament, a customer headed to the kitchen, grabbed an apron, and began washing dishes. Another came back to make coffee. Others bussed tables. Customer Ethan Crispo observed the scene while he waited for his waffle. Later, he told a Today Show reporter, quote, "Humanity truly isn't good. It's great." Humanity is great indeed, and we are all wired to help and nurture one another. It is most times, I imagine, an unconscious acknowledgement of our oneness. Those who reach out to help strangers are living out the oneness that is part of our spiritual DNA. I'd like to repeat that last sentence. Those who reach out to help strangers are living out the oneness that is part of our spiritual DNA. Furthermore, people feel good about helping each other. I believe that the helper gets more out of the help than the one being helped. It's a win-win. Grace is defined as the giving of spirit to its creation. When we help each other, we live in grace. And I'd like to share the affirmation that was written along with this passage today. As I help, I am helped in my growing awareness and embodiment of my oneness with all life. And so it is.
Thank you, Rev Ed. So we at Center for Spiritual Living Greater Boston are, of course, following the 2020 Centers for Spiritual Living theme of spiritual vision. And we've had a lot of opportunity recently to be in spiritual vision, as some of us have been staying at home. Our March theme is honoring the divine feminine in all. My talk today is nurturing as strength. Ernest Holmes tells us, I live in the faith that there is a presence and a power greater than I am that nurtures and supports me in ways I could not even imagine. I know that this presence is all-knowing and all-power and is always right where I am. And I encourage you to watch our Facebook page as these beautiful slides that I have created for these quotes will be popping in throughout the week. So this presence and power that he is speaking of is the universal one mind, or the God of our understanding. And it is nurturing and supporting us, not from the outside, but from within us, because it is us. So why does nurturing have a bad rap, and most especially in men? Today I discuss the subject of nurturing as strength. I want to look at three things. Does your description define you? What does nurture mean? And is masculinity toxic or healthy? So does your description define you? Let's begin there. I ask this question because what sometimes happens in our culture is that we use words that are meant to describe us and then allow them to define us. The description is really only saying a limited sense of who we are. Some descriptive words can be gay, straight, cisgender, Now, cisgender is an interesting phrase. It began when the transgender movement in the 90s became rather strong, and it is a term that they use for those who aren't transgender and identify with the gender of their birth. There's also non-binary, lesbian, male, female. There are so many descriptive terms. These are only ways to describe the way we are showing up in the world as the divine expressing in this human form. We are more than these words that describe us. Using words to describe do not define the whole of who you and I are. Our society and humanity have placed assigned roles to us based on our sex or gender. Although these have softened a little since I was a kid, still there, and in some cases are even stronger than before. Women and girls are nurturers. Men and boys are strong and powerful. These are stereotypes and biases that still appear in our world. These biases may be buried deep within each of us. I know that I remember when I was a young boy that I was considered a sissy because I was gentler and enjoyed playing with the neighbor girl and her dollhouse. I have to say that I did love rearranging the furniture in her dollhouse. I did not want to play with the boys so much. So people thought I behaved more like a girl than a boy. Again, that was according to the worldview at the time. Here's the funny thing. The girl that I played with identified as a tomboy, and that seemed to be more acceptable then than what I was or what I appeared to be, and that was a sissy. Today, things appear to be getting better. And we are working more to create a balanced worldview that breaks through these stereotypes and these biases. Most especially, we are looking at nurturing. As I said last week, it takes extreme power and strength to impregnate the law with our desire and stand in faith. Speaking our word is easy. The true strength comes from being, trusting, and having faith, standing in faith. And what is that if not nurturing? So what does nurturing mean? Well, dictionary.com says this. Nurturing is to feed and protect, to support and encourage, as during the period of training or development, to foster, to bring up, to train, to educate. Something that nourishes. Nourishes, nurturing. Very similar, are they not? Could we not say that loving, cheering on, reassuring, or inspiring, are those not words that we could use as well for this idea of nurturing? It is about being encouraging and wanting to see others grow and flourish. In order for us to be this, we really need to be strong in character, and most especially, we need to be mature emotionally. We must make sure that we have healed those old stereotypes and biases that may have held us down up until now. This healing takes place by going within and reflecting and clearing away old limited beliefs and behaviors. This is our inner vocation or work that we do with what? Our spiritual practices. Ernest Holmes says we are a teaching and a practicing order. So if all we are doing is learning and teaching and not incorporating these principles, we're missing the mark. In our religious term, we could say sinning, because we are sinning against our own being. Once you have done this work, you will be guided to ways to clear the old ideas and move into your freedom to be truly who you are and who you are meant to be. Be the presence of the divine in the world. Now I ask the question, is masculinity toxic or healthy? This is a big question. Let me break it down into small pieces. Let me begin with healthy masculinity. As we look at this idea of healthy masculinity, I want to start with the animal kingdom, because there is so much in the animal kingdom where there are amazing situations that show the masculine as a nurturing presence. We can begin with the emperor penguin. The male actually nurtures the egg, and the female goes out and hunts for the food to prepare her body to care for the chick as it is growing, as they share in that. The seahorse female actually deposits the egg into the male's stomach, and then she leaves. She's done. He then carries and nurtures them until they are giving birth through him. It's fascinating to watch this. I found this online as I was watching. The giant water bug, male, actually carries the eggs on his back until they hatch. There are many frogs and marmosets and black-necked swans and owl monkeys that either share in the nurturing or the male takes on the responsibilities. There are no stereotypes or biases here. It is just a natural instinct, and something we can learn from. When it comes to our society, we are seeing more fathers being nurturing presences as they stay home and become the caregiver. You see, we will even see these stay-at-home dads nurturing and empowering their children. Then there is the toxic masculinity. In an online NBC video, toxic masculinity in boys is fueling an epidemic of loneliness. They talk about how at 12 and 13, boys want to be intimate, connected, on healthy, loving, and nourishing ways. As they get older, they start to use phrases like no homo and begin to distance themselves from each other. What happens is the question of intimate relationship with other boys becomes this idea of being gay, rather than a question about relationship and friendship and connection. There is still a belief in America that to be a man, you have to be emotionless. The toxic masculinity is coming out of the distancing and separation and extreme loneliness. What happens is that the only acceptable emotion then becomes anger. As we look at the world around us and our national leadership, we see this being played out. Men without the capacity to show empathy and love or kindness, thriving on anger energy. Our vocation, our work in this is to bring our humanity to EQ, an emotional quotient, into the world, and most especially in our boys and our men. bring a deeper understanding of the power and the strength that lies in the nurturing and the kindness. Being the message of EQ, emotional quotient, instead of just IQ, intelligence quotient. At Centers for Spiritual Living, we are about balance, finding this balance in all, not just for some, but for all. Later today, I will put a video on Facebook that was created by Gillette about toxic masculinity and how to address it. It is a very powerful thing done by the Gillette Shaving Company, and I feel that it is an empowering video, so I wanted to share it with you, so later today you will see that come into our Facebook page. I hope you will enjoy it as much as I did. You may find tears welling up in your eyes. I know I did when I watched it. This week, I call you to find balance within and clear away any hidden stereotypes or biases within. And look for the power and the strength that lies in nurturing, in kindness, and in love. We have a great opportunity now, as we are placed into an experience of social distancing, to find ways to reach out to those you know who might be living alone. As Zinat Merchant Sayal says on her website, Positive Provocations, nurturing your spirituality involves knowing who you are and living a balanced life that is meaningful to you. And as you live that balanced life that is meaningful to you, you are able to reach out and help others to find that same meaningful power in their lives. This week, we find that sweet spot in life. That is my call to you. Namaste.
And if you would join me in today's Spiritual Mind Treatment, whose purpose is that each embody the comfortableness of being a nurturing, kind, loving, compassionate being. And I ask you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable. And as you do, I invite you to breathe in all the love of the divine. And exhale all the love of yourself. And as you inhale and exhale this magnificent energy of love, just relax and be. Relax and be, and let all thoughts or concerns, let them go. They'll be there later if you so choose to want them. But for now, I invite you to be in a space of being. And coming from this place of knowing that there is just one magnificent light energy in the world. This energy goes by many names. Its name is not important. The presence of its existence is. I'll call this energy this morning the universal mind. And this universal mind is all loving, is all kindness, is caring, is compassion, is wisdom, is joy, is magnificence, is opulence. This is the nature of the thing itself, that is in, through, and as everything in the seen form and the unseen form. It is all universal mind. And I am one with this. I am made in its image and likeness. I am a unique individualization of it, expressing it as only I can. And as that is my truth, that is the truth of everyone in this congregation, everyone on Facebook, everyone throughout the cosmos and places unknown. Each one is that most precious, unique, individualized representation of this universal mind. And it's each one's pleasure to express it as beautifully as each one does. And I know and call forth today is that each one, as each one embodies all that the divine is, as each one nurtures, as each one shows kindness, as each one expresses love, as each one comes from compassion, as each one becomes that uplifting agent for all of humanity, the world becomes a stronger, beautiful place to exist in. And as each one is able to express these emotions and feelings and actions with each other, love and compassion and kindness lifts all of humanity. Breathe that in. All of what one does in this state of beingness benefits each one, benefits humanity, and lifts the vibrational force of humanity. As this occurs, as this is expressed, I see people helping each other. I see people supporting each other. I see people nurturing and loving each other. I see people smiling and being there for each other. I am so grateful. My heart is filled with joy and love as the vibrational energy of the earth, this great place that we live in, is raised by the consciousness of each individual. I am grateful. I am grateful seeing the smiles on people's face as one walks through this journey called life. I am grateful for it all. And I release this into the law knowing that this is already done. This is already happening. This is life. This is beauty. This is the divine in expression. And please join me this morning by saying together, and so it is.
Thank you, Rev Ed. And so I invite you this morning to join us in fellowship as we have set up a Zoom link, which you will find on our Facebook page, so that you can join us for fellowship and we can all connect face to face and be able to connect on that greater level, as we know that this isolated sense of experience that many of us may be having right now, it's a good way for us to connect and see each other face to face. So please join us. I will begin that immediately following this talk so that we can all come together in fellowship and talk and speak and connect face to face, which is such a beautiful technology. We're so grateful for Zoom. Thank you.
Okay, and I'd like to say one thing. As many of us are in this self-retreat, I think it's very, very important if each of us could reach out to at least 3 people by phone this week. I think that would be a great way of further connecting with humanity. So that's my call to everyone. Get on that phone during the week and call some people. Bless you all. Love you.
Bless you all. Thank you.
See you in Zoom.
See you in Zoom.